This is Professor Appelan from the class ALCS229, Football in Latin America. If you are watching this video, you are in my class. So I'm going to give you a little bit introduction of the class through some of my personal collection on jerseys and why this game seems to be what it is. So here is the most important participant of the class, the soccer ball. This is not any soccer ball. To me, it's a very special soccer ball. This is a version of the Tango Adidas soccer ball. It was used for the first time in the World Cup of 1982. That was the first World Cup that Diego Maradona played back in for the Argentine selection. And then it was the same ball that River Plate used to win its championship in 1986, 1986, and then went to win the Copa Libertadores for the first time in history in 1986, and then went to win the Copa Intercontinental in 1986 as well at the end of that. That Copa, which is called the International Copa back then, is what we know now as the Mundial of Clubes of the World Club, and basically that's where many of the winners across the continent meet together to get to the final and finally win that cup. Argentina has been clubs in Argentina has been several times in there, and anyway, my soccer team River never reached that the opportunity to win that cup. It was there a couple of times, and we lost against Barcelona of Messi once. So about the colors, about why we are here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about things that have changed and things that go around. So I'm going to point out to you, this is a jersey. This is a ref jersey. Now it's in green. Historically, the colors of the jersey were actually black, as you can see in here. These are two gifts from Lucila Sandoval, who is the leader of a group called Las Pioneras, which are the women who initiated the field in soccer, at least historically, the ones that play soccer when no other women were playing in the field. She also gave me a jersey that is also very special. It's the Arsenal jersey right there. It is special because the Arsenal, as you know, belong to the Premier League in the UK, and it is the British who are basically, who claim that they were the founders of the sport. So part of the history of Arsenal reflects the history of soccer itself in the world. Then we have a jersey from Bahia, and as you can see, this jersey has also publicity, okay? Guara, the MRV. That's something that reflects a trend in the teams that began back in the 1980s, roughly in the mid-1980s, when the clubs began to advertise and make money off whatever was on the t-shirt. Before that, there was not, at least in Latin America, a lot of big clubs doing it, and we can see, and we're gonna see that. Then later we have here Metropolitan Football Academy. Metropolitan Football Academy is a big team in Puerto Rico. The neat thing about this team is that it's led by an Argentinian who went there to play some soccer and then ended up staying, and now is the coach of it. And he basically made that club out of nothing, which also explained the diaspora of Latin Americans across the world, and in this case in Puerto Rico, which is something that we are going to be seeing. Also, because he was there, then he brought other Argentinian players to play in the league. And well, Metropolitan has won the championship in its own league. And it does have the opportunity, at the very least, to be participating in the CONCACAF, which is the league that groups all the nations from basically Central America and North America. And we're going to talk about that. Whereas CONMEBOL is the league that groups all the countries in South America. Okay? So, and then Out of that, out of the Puerto Rican Soccer League, as you can see, this is a team called River Plate, which they put the name after the colors of River, and they play for many years with that jersey in there. And then we have one of my most special jerseys. That's River Plate. That's the jersey that won the championship in 1986. And I think I started going to stadiums as I was very like around 10 years old. Though the first time I went to a stadium, it was in 1981 when River won a championship there in a very nice stadium in Argentina called Ferrocarril Oeste. And I remember going to the first time with my father to this place. So that's how my journey begins, going to the temple, where we used to be able to see who was going to not only be in the field, but most likely be in the future also in the field, and we'll talk about that too. It's called La Reserva, the reserve, and those are the players who used to play before the main game. And then we have a collection of some of my jerseys, and you can see Sancho, Fate, Quilmes, Petrobras, BBVA. Okay, these are all different brands from some local corporations, but then you can also see how multinational corporations begin to stamp their presence in Argentina in a local market through the sport. And that's also going to have fascinating things. Now, as you can see here, anyone can recognize this? All right. That's the logo from the mobile company that is being sort of like expelled out of the United States for security reasons. So China, it's also looking into different ways to be part of this market. And also at this point, Qatar Airlines and Turkish Airlines are also going into these fields. Through the players by sponsoring clubs. Now this is my Argentine jersey, okay, and then one of my favorites too is Naples, el Napoli, the old Napoli, donde jugó Diego Maradona. Diego Maradona played there, and the first Scudetto that the Napoli got was through Diego Maradona. And then we have also through Diego the very last jersey that Diego wore in his final game, when he was basically given his final goodbye, and the teams wore a jersey like that, and it was basically the end of his official career, and it was his final game in a field. As many of you know, then he recently was in the Mexican League in the second division, where his team won and promoted to the first division. And then we have the jersey from Ecuador, which was a gift from my wife, and the jersey from Costa Rica, which was a jersey that we bought when we went to Costa Rica. So in this video, you can see different trends. One is the identity that I have to the jersey that I own, but also the meaning that some of this jersey carries to me. And so that this is the relationship that we have with other people that consolidates through a gift. And a gift is any other gift other than a jersey. And when someone gives you a jersey, like in the case of Lucila, when she gave me 3 of her jersey, or Jorge, who is my buddy from Puerto Rico, when he gave me his Metropolitan jersey coach, it was significant. It was an act of love and care and tenderness and friendship, and so it reflected the meaning of what he gave me, and I understood the meaning of what he gave me because I know what it symbolizes. And we just also talked about globalization, market-driven soccer, which basically allows sports to make money of the jerseys that they put up there, but also through the brands that they put in their jerseys as well, and that means also a linkage from multinational corporations into a local market, being basically linking the local with the global. Okay, and now also we can talk about national pride. And how local teams represent national pride every time they play internationally. Also the notion of nations and their styles as we go through Argentinian jerseys and Ecuador and Costa Rica, and how these jerseys become a symbol of soccer, a symbol of a nation, a symbol of power within the sport arena. And that also is also associated with gender, because when we think about Maradona, when we think about Messi, Ronaldo, we don't tend to think then about Marta or Ada or any of the women athletes and sports women in soccer, but we rather tend to imagine this in a male-driven way, which basically locate our masculinities and our manhood in the field of soccer. Now, traditionally, you didn't need this ball here to play soccer. You could have played soccer as I did with different things that I'm going to talk about it in class. Or we made soccer out of paper ball. We made soccer out of socks and paper balls, and we made soccer out of pretty much anything. And we're going to see the difference in between playing soccer in your potrero, okay, in an open field in your backyard, like here, where my son and I usually play, or play soccer in an actual field where you have a referee, where you have a coach, where you have a distinct jersey, an official ball. All of that is part of the soccer corporation, if you will, within the sport. And we're going to talk about these differences. So in this 15 video, I wanted to touch upon a couple of things. First, the different themes you're going to look through in our class. Second, the meanings of those things that we are going to be thinking through, not only in terms of places and space and gender and colors and chants and symbolisms, but also how people in Latin America react to all these things and how they shape the sports as well as the sport shaping them. Because it's a two-way street. In a world today that is not the 1880s when soccer was one way, and today, which is soccer, it's a different game. There are more importance on the weight of the players, how much they eat, how much exercise they do, body conditioning, all those different things that 30 years ago, 4 years ago, were not as important as to be able to dribble through 5 guys and score. Now, that is not to say that is not important today, but it is to say that those are not the only reasons as to why we have a competitive soccer that needs many more skills than you had before or that you needed before. So I hope that you can prepare to class, meaning that you read what we give you, because I am going to be tailoring these discussions based on what you bring to the table. And what you bring to the table is going to inform me as well as your classmates, and is going to provide meaningful discussions. If you are not prepared, then you won't be able to really link the material with the lectures and with what your classmates bring to the class as well. I really hope that you put everything in this class as much as I will. When I play soccer, I leave my soul in there, literally. I don't play with the same body that I used to play when I was 20, but I do play with the same intensity as much as I can, given my age, 45, but with the same intensity and the same love. And I hope that you guys do the same for this class and for your education. I see you on Tuesday, and I hope you have a great weekend. And as far as for me is concerned, I'm going to be watching River Boca, la Copa Libertadores, la Superliga de Argentina, and Vamos River Place. And Latinos, let's go. And if you're not Latino, also let's go, because we are a group that, as I see in the roster, is a group that comes from different backgrounds, and that is going to provide us with a great source of information, knowledge, and hopefully within that, a lot of fun. Thank you so much.